This episode is why this show exists.
The game is about Jacko and his quest to destroy life as we know it. Everyone in the game is based on someone I know.
The cold sealed kid, as I live and breathe. Which, son of a gun, I'm doing, aren't I?
If you get past this level, you'll still have your hands full with the others.
Okay, we haven't even begun this episode, and already we have another example of the writers not really understanding the fundamentals of video games. The boss? Yes, the guest villain in this episode is a business-style boss, but every guest villain is a boss in video game terms. Jackal's a boss, and just boss in general. This is full-life consequences level terminology confusion. You're just lucky you don't actually show off the episode titles on screen, TV show that came and went without fanfare over 2 decades ago. Last episode we went over the airing order issues, but this episode, near as I can tell, was only moved up by 1 episode by Dr. Kramer being moved to the back end of the season. This is my favorite episode of the show, has one of my top 10 bad TV moments of all time, and if the whole show had been like this, we'd have gotten
6 seasons and a movie!
Now that I've raised your expectations, let's see if Deadly Games can deliver.
Bitchin' wheels, dude!
Which it does, as Jeremy Renner, who you all know as the Avenger Hawkeye, walks up to Christopher Lloyd and TV's lovable LeVar Burton.
Would you care to take home a gasoline tanker with your purchase?
That's darn able of you, son. I believe I will.
Step down out of the cab, driver. You're punching out early today.
Says who?
I don't tolerate insubordination, mister. Not now, not ever. You're fired.
Did you see that? He's skipping out on the 895.
This is what I'm talking about. An evil cyborg middle manager that kills people with plasma-charged pink slips. It's cheesy, it's funny, and most people can relate to it. If I somehow got the rights to the show, this guy would absolutely be in the reboot, both actor and character. And for those of you struggling with the notion of lovable Reading Rainbow host LeVar Burton inflicting pain on another human being, I offer you this.
This is Gage said, Nicole is gone, OJ's in jail. How bright is Kato? We're still not in the big house.
You want me to kick his ass for you? Yeah, man.
Bonus, offering to inflict pain on Gary Shandling is also lovable. So after the credits, we find Dr. Chang, Gus and Peter's science boss, who wants to see their results on the antimatter experiments. They don't have them because they've been busy fighting video game villains. Before you can wonder why they aren't showing all of their data to Dr. Chang to show that their gadget created life from digital information, and thus become world famous and maybe get a little help against Jackal, this happens.
Get off the screen, get a job, kid!
Metcalf, it seems, likes to screw with his prey just like Jackal. He's just all business about it. Also, Gus, don't walk in the middle of the street. Jackal drops in to try and bribe Lauren and set up a running gag.
You'll have perks you never dreamed of. How does ruler of New York sound? As a signing bonus?
The city or the state?
We didn't discuss boundaries, Gus.
Jackal is actually rather intimidating, and on the way out he catches a glimpse of Lauren's fiancé. Remember that guy? Of course you don't. Anyhow, he's come back to ask why she called off the wedding.
It's a character issue, Harry. You always need to please everyone. You want to please your mother. You want to please me. And you wind up being insincere.
So we get an indication that there was more than the game and Gus behind Lauren calling off her wedding, and it's all a genuinely good bit of character work. Gus was selfish and distant, so it makes sense Lauren would then go for a guy that was attentive and eager to please. Harry asks to show her that he's changed, and Gus shows up and things get odd.
Where's your mom? I noticed she's not stroking your thighs.
She lives in Florida now.
You sent your mother to Florida?
I admit, I don't get human social signals all the time, but I think Lauren has a kink for banishing old people to Florida. Listen to her tone.
You sent your mother to Florida? You sent your mother to Florida?
With her bizarre sexual interest re-peaked and Harry and Gus now restored to rivaldom, we get back to the reason I watched this show, a play in one act.
My feeling is this Harry must be a very special friend. Let's take him hostage.
Why? I take a hostage. I need a reason for the file.
He makes personal calls at the office.
Then he deserves what he gets.
We are reminded that this is the 90s by the presence of children playing with toy guns that look totally real.
Go find your mother, son. It's not safe out here anymore.
Yay!
Afternoon, Harry. Allow me to give you a little...
Okay. Never, ever conduct personal business on company time. On company time.
Harry, I know just what you're thinking. Is this one crazy afternoon or what?
So the villains kidnap Harry, and the heroes discuss the coming level. This is the rare villain that Gus is understandably bitter about, and not just being a petty snot. He was based on his boss at his first video game job, and Metcalf destroyed his confidence by tearing down his work. And because this is my show, I'm going to spend a bit talking about the game and how I think it works based on what the show puts forward. Gus's game may be obtuse, self-indulgent, and baffling, but it's a technical marvel with ultra-realistic graphics and believably simulated voices. Despite looking like one, it's not treated as an FMV game. It's implied that programming a character in the game was a simple matter of scanning some photos and using some voice samples. And a future episode proves just how quickly a level and a boss could be made, explaining, to a large degree, why Gus can have so damn many villains in this. As we've seen in past episodes, Jackal can use wordplay to bend the rules of the game without breaking them. Gus doesn't know much about how the game works, and hasn't even beaten many of his own levels, including level 1. This leads me to believe that Gus's main skill is actually artificial intelligence. His game is a less solidly structured affair and is more of a procedurally generated experience with pre-programmed variables. The game world is basically a series of sandboxes with complicated AI-driven characters responding to each other. Gus is a sort of proto-Peter Molyneux, a maker of ambitious games that fall disastrously flat in vitally key areas. Even some small-time shareware outfit, which is likely what he worked for given the time period, would have to recognize that kind of skill early on. The real Metcalf, I can only assume, was probably much as Gus describes him.
I worked 7 months programming the Pony Express, and he fired me for the 10 minutes it took him to play the game. Told me I should be driving gasoline tankers like his loser brother Ed.
A terrible boss ruining your dream job is, well, a pretty unawesome experience. Much as I like this episode, we do have to burn through a few boring bits because they have to fill an hour-long time slot. Metcalf has to steal the tanker, which he's done. He has to steal a remote control, and then he's going to slam it into a target known for creativity and experimentation. Dr. Chang shuts down their operation and pulls the grant, and Gus's obsession with his clever clues lead them to the right street, but the wrong electronics store.
Stop! Just what kind of slipshod security operation are you running here, mister? You're fired.
Luckily, this guy knows how to jump out of the way of an obvious weapon when threatened by an obvious supervillain, or I'd have to do that kill counter graphic again. Red ink is, of course, Metcalf's weakness, another reason he's one of the better thought-out baddies, but it's Jackal to the rescue with his umbrella, and Lauren realizes who the hostage is.
Gus, Jackal's got Harry!
See, Jackal's destroying dreams, and Harry gets picked as the hostage to represent that, because he dreams of getting back with Lauren. Also, because Gus can't make anything totally sensical,
Why are you always so surprised?
Metcalf has to steal nitroglycerin to blow up the tanker, because Metcalf took nitro pills for his heart. Lauren points out that you don't need nitro if you have gas, and vice versa, but they go through that dance basically every episode. They visit Peter, who has gotten a job remarkably fast in an electronics store. They watch the Metcalf tape, and a kid catches a glimpse of it, setting up for later, yada yada yada.
This hostage taking, I like it. I like the feel of it. It feels right. You have questions?
What do you want from me?
You'll need to blow up.
I'm nobody.
You sell yourself short. I happen to know a lady who, after you explode, is going to be extremely irritated.
You know my mother?
Hey! There's no eating at your station, mister. And adjust that cap. Is this how you present yourself to the public?
You people are a sweet delight. Just one big almond paste-filled sweet delight.
And yes,
You're fired.
Get your hands up, both of you.
You'd better straighten that tie, mister. You want to dress like a ruffian, you dress like a ruffian at home.
Hey, stay away.
Gus and Lauren arrive at the pharmaceutical company to stop Jackal, and the guard is surprisingly alive.
You guys know that nitro can make half the neighborhood disappear?
Thanks, but I've already got a plan.
Gus goes into the building to stop Metcalf while Lauren searches for Harry, but Jackal has set a trap.
Harry!
It's not like you knew him! Turns out Jackal switched the gun for a cap gun because reasons. Gus wonked his head dodging the shots, and Lauren has super hearing. They can hear a cap gun inside a building and down several hallways from well outside. Of course, Jackal is gone by the time they're done. Back at base, they've got Chang agreeing to let them see the data before pulling the plug, and Jackal shows up.
I know what you're thinking. Mr. Jackal, shouldn't you be strapping your hostage behind the wheel in preparation for this morning's explosion?
Harry's gonna be in the tanker?
What is that smell? It smells like gasoline in here.
Space Museum. The Jupiter satellite, right? Exeter Corp. The brain chip. Dozens of scientists using every ounce of their creative energies for the good of mankind. It turns my stomach.
You're just telling us all this so we go rushing off to Exeter while you and Metcalf blow up the real target.
Charming woman. I do so look forward to level 28.
What happens in level 28, Gus?
I'd tell you, but you'd only get mad.
There's some if he knows that we know that he knows that we know type overthinking, and then there's actual stunt work, as Gus and Lauren catch up to the tanker and stop it before it hits Exeter Corp. But there's no remote, as it's a fake-out.
This stuff isn't nitro. Champagne.
I'd act disappointed, but I can't. Classic Jackal. Also, this next line is important.
He said the tanker would be here. The tanker is here, so technically, he didn't lie.
Jackal doesn't lie. He misleads, he tricks, but he doesn't lie. This ties into what Jackal really is, and explains why Gus almost trusted him last episode with the card game. Peter's gone to the Invention Expo, and they realize that's the real target. And the tanker, well...
What will you mind most about blowing up?
For instance, will you miss your lady?
I would tell her that my life was never better than when she was part of it. I'd tell her I love her. If it's Gus Lloyd you want, now bring him to your doorstep.
Harry! It doesn't matter when I win, it's how I play the game.
Again, this is why Jackal is a magnificent bastard. He isn't going to just kill Harry. He's planning on using the recording afterward to make sure Lauren knows how Harry felt, purely to crush her spirits. It's a level of villainy we don't often see, with that personal touch that makes it special.
I like you so, I'll go the extra mile.
Thank you. At the Invention Exchange...
Thank you!
We have a guy who thinks lawn darts were too safe. This is both a Chekhov's dart launcher and just plain funny. And Peter's there, showing off the game footage to kids and potential investors. Oh, and Jackal has a booth.
They have a booth?
And the tanker toys are loaded with nitro. The heroes rush to turn them off. Jackal has Harry behind the wheel of his wagon, another nod to Gus's Pony Express game, and Gus does the hero thing and saves his rival, finds the tape of Harry's admission, and uses one of the tankers and the pneumatic arrow launcher to destroy Metcalf.
Oh, well. Guys like him are a dime a dozen.
To wrap up, they get their grant back, and they're on their way to getting the game on shelves, although that's not followed up on. Ever. On the other hand, Gus gets some more character development.
Why didn't you just play her the tape?
I can't. If she wants the guy, she wants the guy.
But Lauren found the tape anyway.
So you tried to please them, and now you're trying to please me.
Lauren, anyone would have done the same thing.
I don't think so, Harry. Not everyone.
And Jackal, as always, gets the last word.
By the way, my offer still stands. New York still needs a ruler.
The city or the state? Doesn't matter. Pass.
My dear, you're making a very grave error. Very grave.
This episode is one that really hammers home how good this show could have been. Maybe not fantastic, but just fun and clever enough. Metcalf works as a video game baddie of the more surreal 90s retro gaming kind. LeVar Burton's charisma keeps him from being overshadowed by Christopher Lloyd.
You're drinking on company time.
I own this company, Mr. Metcalf.
And he's clearly having a lot of fun playing a cartoon bad guy. Gus is still petulant, but he shows some character growth and a great degree of heroism. putting himself in great danger multiple times to save someone. It'd be really easy for him to have turned into another boss for his game. Lauren and Peter get stuff to do, and there are a lot of genuinely funny moments. So yeah, if you're only going to watch one episode of the series, maybe this one. The next 3 episodes in the airing order, The End of Jackal and The Camp Counselor, Parts 1 and 2, are, by my estimation, from plot elements, episodes 11, 12, and 13 of the first season. So we're skipping to the next episode after that, The Practical Joker, which brings yet another Trek actor.
High-tech pre-preparation always pays off.
Sometimes I love this show.
Hey, Pipples! Did you like that bit of nonsense? Well then why don't you click like, and subscribe, and press that bell, or whatever YouTube wants you to do.
You can also do us a big solid by joining our Patreon, where you'll get to join us for live streams, get early access to the newest videos, and other such things.
You sent your mother to Florida?
Geek Vision.